What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, May 11th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter, at Josh Engleman, so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, Sadiq Bey, DeLon Wright, and Kevin Durant on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites, my top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. Spoiler alert, you're about to see quite a few Toronto Raptors. But first, number 5, Gary Trent Jr. He's shooting guard, small forward eligible, but he's 6K, projected for 33. The goal's 41. He's in the optimal lineup 22% of the time. You can see that we're in a different tier. No Kyle Lowry, no Fred VanVleet, no OG Anunoby, no Pascal Siakam. The Raptors are either going to have 8 or 9 active bodies today, depending on what they do with Aaron Baines, who hasn't played in a month. I don't know if he's going to play today. That means a lot of minutes. I gave Gary Trent 36 minutes, 0.99 fantasy points per minute, 25% usage, and 22 real points. He's going to take every single shot that he wants to take today. 3 boards, 2 assists. There's not much there. A steal. It's not great. It's a tough matchup against the Clippers, but who the hell knows if the Clippers sit multiple guys? Keep your eyes peeled on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, that's for sure. This short-handed Raptors team is going to have a lot of value. They're going to be the most popular team on the slate until we get additional news. But for right now, with dual eligibility and the fact that he will have the highest usage on the team, Gary Trent Jr. is a no-brainer. We keep the theme going with Raptors small forward eligible Stanley Johnson comes in at number 4. And in terms of the matchup, I don't have anything to add. You're about to hear 4 more guys facing the Clippers. It's the same across the board. This is a minutes play. He's small forward eligible. He's 3,300, projected for 25. The goal is 30. He's in the optimal lineup 27% of the time. I got him in for 32 minutes, just shy of 0.8 fantasy points per minute. And you're getting a little bit of everything. 10 points, 4.5 boards, 3.5 assists, a steal and a half, almost a block. You're hoping for the best for Stanley Johnson, but again, at 3,300, it's not really all that important. He can only kill you so much at that price tag, and there's going to be plenty of value to go around. Guys like Stanley Johnson, I expect to slowly slide down the list as we get closer to lock because we open up a ton more value. Right now, Toronto is the only team that has nerfed everybody. That's going to happen more, and we will get that news. Those guys will look a little bit better. But right now, Stanley Johnson, number 4. We're not done yet. Number 3, power forward Yuta Watanabe, 3,500, projected for 26. The goal's 31. He's in the optimal lineup 29% of the time. Now, everything that I just said for Stanley Johnson is the same here. He's a sub 4K guy at a different position, playing 30 minutes probably. 0.85 to 0.9 fantasy points per minute, 16% usage, 12 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, a steal. Same matchup against the Clippers. You got to go to the Raptors right now for value, but I'm prioritizing Watanabe over Johnson. We're prioritizing 2 more Raptors even more, including the number 1 contender that isn't even close to anybody else. At number 2, we're going to the point guard spot, $5,300 Malachi Flynn. I assume he starts, and both he and Trent are the guys that I will like the most. 34 minutes for Flynn, a fantasy point per minute, 22% usage. One of the few guys that should pick up assists in this game. We're talking 15.5 points, 6.5 assists, and 4 boards. A stock and a half, I guess. I wish he had dual eligibility, but I'm not surprised that he doesn't. Flynn and Trent are the guys that I assume run everything for this team. I prefer Flynn just because the price is a little bit easier to get to. And the fact that he's going to do a little bit more on the floor kind of raises his floor. You just have to play a lot of Raptors today. Whether or not we get more value throughout the day, Flynn and Trent will sustain this spot. And then we get to our number 1 guy. But before we get to that number 1 guy, one last reminder, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then go to Twitter and follow me, at Josh Engleman. It's the only place that you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock, and a day like today is going to be very important given the amount of news we'll have. You'll also want to tune into live before lock. Finally, in the comment section, underneath this video, I want your favorite contender, your least favorite contender, and the guy that you expected to see on this list that you do not see. And finally, the number 1 contender on this slate, by a lot, at least as of right now, that would be shooting guard Jalen Harris. So clean sweep for the Toronto Raptors today. He's 3,100. I've got him projected for 28. The goal's 29. He's in the optimal lineup 47% of the time. Now, this number is going to come down quite a bit as more value opens up. He's just on a different level, both from a position and a price tag. I gave him 28 minutes. I've got him projected for a fantasy point per minute, 15 points, 3.5 boards, 3.5 assists. Played bigger minutes this last time out, and I think that's going to happen again with only 8, potentially 9 active bodies. It's just massive here for the Raptors. And if any of these Clippers guys end up getting ruled out, it looks even better. But I want to give you this key piece, and it's going to cause me to move the mouse onto the screen for once. If I just highlight the 5 optimal odds for these Raptors guys, because people are going to freak out. 5 Raptors, that's not how it actually looks. The sum of those totals, 1.56 or 156%. That means, on average, 1.5 Raptors are going to be in the optimal lineup. So while I do have 5 guys here, the more likely scenario is that 3 of them fall off and you see either 1 or 2 of them in the optimal lineup. That's why you might not want to go the full freight unless you're playing a cash game. So while I'm heavy on the Raptors, you have to understand what the data means. This isn't saying that you should be playing 5 Raptors in an optimal lineup, but the expectation, the most likely scenario, is 1 or 2 in the optimal lineup. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, May 11th. FanDuel version of this video is already in the books. Process show is done. We went a full 90 minutes breaking it all down. Strategy show at 10 a.m. with Laffy. Keep your eyes peeled for PGA contenders and Preakness contenders. And then live before lock tonight, 6 p.m., myself and Eric Lindquist. Going to be the big lead up. This is going to be the most difficult slate of the year, so you're going to want to pay attention to it. Follow at Awesemo NBA on Twitter for all of the breaking news. We will be back again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders. Good luck tonight, everybody.